Los Angeles is often imagined as a city of dreams, a place where ambition glitters as brightly as the neon lights that line its streets, and where skyscrapers seem to pierce the heavens with promises of opportunity. Tourists marvel at its glamour, aspiring actors chase stardom along its boulevards, and hopeful souls from across the nation flock here with dreams in their pockets. Yet beneath this glittering facade lies a reality that is often invisible, almost unimaginable. More than 72,000 people in Los Angeles County live without a home. These are lives rarely captured by glossy travel magazines or Hollywood blockbusters, stories that rarely make it past a headline. This is the story a homeless documentary seeks to reveal. A story not of statistics, but of people. Not of numbers, but of humanity. It is a story of survival, of resilience that quietly persists even when society's gaze turns away, and of hope that refuses to be extinguished amid despair. To wander through the neighborhoods of Los Angeles is to step into a city of contradictions so stark they almost feel unreal. Along one street, an artist's mural bursts with color and imagination, while mere steps away, a tattered tent shields a family from the wind and rain. A bustling cafe hums with conversation and clinking coffee cups. Yet across the sidewalk, an RV stands as the only home for those priced out of conventional housing. Each neighborhood tells its own story, woven from the threads of struggle, courage, and systemic failure. From the crowded sidewalks of Skid Row to the sunlit but precarious encampments along Venice Beach, to the glittering yet unforgiving streets of Hollywood, the city presents a spectrum of human experience, both heartbreaking and inspiring. Through the lens of this homeless documentary, we step closer to these lives, bearing witness to their daily battles, fleeting victories, and enduring hope. Reminders that behind every statistic lies a human being striving to be seen, to be heard, and to survive. Skid Row, heart of the crisis. Skid Row, a roughly 50-block area in downtown Los Angeles, has long stood as a symbol of America's homelessness crisis. These streets are not filled with tourists or office workers. Instead, they are lined with tents, makeshift shelters, and the weary faces of those who have slipped through society's cracks. Between 4,000 and 6,000 individuals call this area home, making it the densest concentration of unhoused people in the city. Walking down these streets is like inhaling survival itself. The acrid smell of street fires, the clatter of shopping carts over uneven pavement, and the low murmur of conversations about tomorrow's uncertainties create a living portrait of hardship and resilience. About 70% of Skid Row residents are unsheltered, exposed to rain, scorching sun, and the unpredictable dangers of urban life. 22% struggle with severe mental illness, while 21% grapple with substance addiction. Yet numbers alone fail to capture the depth of human experience. A mother huddled beside her child in a fragile tent, trembling at the wail of passing sirens. A man sharing the last morsel of his meal with a stranger, despite having almost nothing. A young woman rejecting help out of fear of losing her independence. Every individual carries a story of trauma, a flicker of hope, and an unwavering determination to survive another day. For many, the streets serve as both sanctuary and prison. Residents arrive here after losing jobs, facing health crises, or being priced out by a housing market that makes survival an almost impossible calculus. The median rent in Los Angeles has soared past $2,800 per month, while wages for low-income workers have stagnated. In a city of stars, even the smallest misfortune can cascade into homelessness. Amid this despair, glimmers of hope persist. Programs like Inside Safe, led by Mayor Karen Bass, have made tangible impact, clearing over 100 encampments, relocating residents into temporary shelters and motel rooms, and providing crucial medical care. Nonprofits such as Midnight Mission and Union Rescue Mission serve thousands of meals, offer counseling, addiction support, and job training. Volunteers deliver blankets, hygiene kits, and sometimes simply their presence. A reminder that those living on the street are not invisible, yet the challenges remain immense. Temporary shelters cannot replace permanent housing. Many return to the streets when programs exhaust funding or when permanent options fail to materialize. With a countywide shortage of 485,000 affordable housing units and fewer than 2,000 psychiatric beds to serve a population of 10 million, systemic gaps are stark. Skid Row, then, is a paradox. A place where help arrives but rarely lingers long enough to transform lives. Beauty and struggle, side by side. Just a few miles west, the Pacific Ocean crashes rhythmically against the shores of Venice Beach, one of Los Angeles's most iconic neighborhoods. Its boardwalk hums with performers, tourists, and artists, painting a vibrant tableau of creativity and culture. Yet, amid the colorful murals, bustling cafes, and sunlit streets, tents and RVs line the sidewalks. A stark and unsettling reminder that prosperity is not universal. Venice Beach is a city of contrasts, where freedom and deprivation exist side by side, where the sparkle of ocean waves meets the harsh reality of survival on the streets. According to the 2025 RAND report, Venice has seen a 15% reduction in unsheltered individuals, yet hundreds still live in vehicles or makeshift shelters along the coastline. Its mild climate and relative safety attract transitional youth aged 18 to 24, many of whom are former foster children or runaways, navigating the treacherous threshold of adulthood without guidance or support. For them, the line between survival and despair is perilously thin. RVs, once symbols of wanderlust and adventure, have transformed into vital lifelines, offering families and older adults a fragile sense of security in a city where median rents far exceed their means. Legislation such as Assembly Bill 2525 has sped up the removal of RVs from streets, streamlining cleanup efforts but stirring ethical debates. For those who rely on these mobile homes, an RV is not merely a vehicle. It is a sanctuary from cold pavement, a shield from the chaos of the streets, and often the last semblance of privacy and dignity they can call their own. The dilemma is stark. How does a city uphold public order while honoring the humanity and basic rights of its most vulnerable residents? Efforts to address Venice's homelessness are as multifaceted as the neighborhood itself. Programs like Inside Safe and Pathway Home have relocated residents into motel rooms and secured permanent housing for thousands. Nonprofits such as The Street, Joseph Center provide tailored mental health support, job training, and individualized case management, addressing the unique needs of Venice's population. Volunteers and local businesses contribute meals, hygiene supplies, and sometimes just their presence, reinforcing a fragile network of care that offers hope amid hardship. Yet the challenges remain formidable. Sanitation issues near the boardwalk, complaints from residents and tourists, and unforeseen emergencies, like the January 2025 wildfires, divert resources and expose the precariousness of even the best laid support systems. Venice, in its vibrant contradictions, mirrors Los Angeles itself, a city of culture, beauty, and creativity, struggling to reconcile its radiant public image with the harsh lived realities of its most vulnerable citizens. This is a story a homeless documentary must tell, not merely statistics, but the daily negotiation between survival and dignity, the quiet battles fought behind the scenes, and the resilience of a community that refuses to be erased. Dreams meet the pavement. Hollywood, the legendary epicenter of stardom and ambition, tells another chapter of Los Angeles' homelessness crisis. The streets that once shimmered with the promise of fame now host encampments, tents, and individuals sleeping beneath the stars, a stark contrast to the glamour immortalized on screen. According to the 2025 RAND report, unsheltered individuals in Hollywood have decreased by 15%, yet thousands remain on the streets, including many rough sleepers who avoid shelters out of distrust, fear, or untreated mental health struggles. The demographic disparities are glaring. Black residents, who make up only 8% of Los Angeles County's population, account for 33% of the homeless community. Roughly 22% of people living on Hollywood streets struggle with severe mental illness, yet with fewer than 2,000 psychiatric beds available across a county of 10 million, access to long-term care is painfully limited. Early 2025 wildfires in nearby Altadena further strained outreach resources, displacing residents without adequate follow-up support and highlighting the fragility of the city's safety net. Still, signs of progress persist amid the hardship. The Inside Safe program has cleared major encampments along Hollywood Boulevard, relocating hundreds into temporary shelters and providing pathways towards stability. The USC Street Medicine Initiative delivers critical healthcare directly to the streets, offering checkups, medications, and referrals for those who might otherwise go untreated. Affordable housing projects funded by Measure HH, a $1.2 billion bond, are underway. Though construction delays mean many residents continue to wait years for permanent shelter. Nonprofits tirelessly provide meals, vocational training, and essential services, weaving lifelines of support in a neighborhood defined by contrast. Hollywood, like Skid Row and Venice Beach, reveals a painful truth. Even in areas of measurable progress, systemic barriers, racial disparities, and shortages of long-term support leave many behind. The neighborhood stands as a stark reminder that ending homelessness requires solutions as complex, diverse, and nuanced as the communities themselves. Through the lens of this homeless documentary, Hollywood streets tell stories of shattered dreams, quiet resilience, and the urgent need for a city willing to act not just to manage, but to restore dignity and hope. Citywide perspective, connecting the neighborhoods. Across Los Angeles County, more than 72,038 individuals remain unhoused, including 43,699 within the city itself. The scope of the crisis is staggering, touching every neighborhood in unique ways, yet bound by a common thread: the struggle for shelter, safety, and dignity. Programs like Inside Safe have achieved measurable progress, reducing tents and vehicles by 13.5%, while the Pathway Home Initiative secured permanent housing for nearly 28,000 residents in 2024. These numbers represent lives that have been transformed, yet the gap remains monumental. A countywide shortage of 485,000 affordable housing units and insufficient psychiatric resources means that temporary interventions can only do so much. Efforts to combat substance abuse have reduced prevalence by 16%, yet the demand far outpaces supply, leaving many still vulnerable on the streets. The launch of Los Angeles' new homelessness department in July 2025 promises improved coordination, accountability, and strategic oversight across city programs. Early steps are encouraging, yet tangible, lasting results are still unfolding. Compounding the challenge, external factors. From wildfires in Altadena and Pacific Palisades to statewide directives clearing encampments, interact with local policy decisions, demonstrating that homelessness is shaped as much by circumstance as by governance. This citywide perspective underscores a critical truth. While each neighborhood confronts its own struggles, solutions must be coordinated, systemic, and compassionate. Programs that succeed in one area offer lessons for another. Youth-focused outreach in Venice, for instance, could inform transitional age initiatives in Hollywood. Mental health support models from Skid Row may be adapted for RV-heavy communities along the Venice coast. In every corner, community engagement, volunteerism, and local advocacy remain indispensable, forming the connective tissue that transforms temporary relief into sustainable change. Through the lens of a homeless documentary, these interconnected efforts reveal not just a city grappling with crisis, but a community striving toward empathy, equity, and hope. Human stories beyond the statistics. Perhaps the most profound element of this homeless documentary is not found in charts, percentages, or official reports, but in the lived experiences of those who call the streets home. On Skid Row, a man offers the last morsel of his meal to a stranger. A quiet act of generosity amidst scarcity. Along Venice Beach, the glittering ocean stretches endlessly, indifferent, a cruel contrast to the makeshift shelters and RVs that line the boardwalk. In Hollywood, a woman quietly refuses aid, not out of defiance, but out of fear of losing the fragile autonomy that keeps her spirit intact. These moments, fleeting yet unforgettable, reveal the human toll behind every number, the unseen struggles that statistics alone cannot convey. Los Angeles possesses the wealth, talent, and ingenuity to lead the nation in confronting homelessness. Programs like Inside Safe, Pathway Home, and Measure HH demonstrate commitment and vision. Yet, bureaucratic delays, gaps in funding, and the slow pace of housing construction continue to impede progress, leaving many still trapped in cycles of instability. The stark racial disparities: 33% of the unhoused are Black, even though they make up only 8% of the county's population, demand intentional, equity-focused strategies that go beyond temporary solutions. The city now stands at a moral and practical crossroads. The question is not whether Los Angeles has the means to end homelessness. It undeniably does. But whether it will act with the urgency, compassion, and coordinated effort that the crisis so desperately requires. Through the lens of a homeless documentary, these human stories remind us that behind every statistic is a life worthy of dignity, care, and a chance to thrive. Conclusion: a call to action. Los Angeles, a city of dazzling lights and shadowed alleys, of soaring ambition and persistent adversity, offers lessons not just for itself, but for the nation. The 4% reduction in homelessness in 2025 is a glimmer of hope. Yet 72,038 people remain without homes. The neighborhoods of Skid Row, Venice Beach, and Hollywood show us that solutions cannot be one size fits all. They must be localized, compassionate, and multifaceted, addressing housing, healthcare, mental health, and the complex web of social support. Only through this integrated approach can Los Angeles transform incremental progress into lasting, meaningful change. This essay, and the homeless documentary it represents, is a plea for awareness, empathy, and decisive action. Every tent, every RV, every person sleeping on a sidewalk is a reminder that homelessness is not abstract, it is profoundly human. Los Angeles has the resources, talent, and vision to lead the way, showing the nation that a city of wealth, dreams, and stars can also be a city of dignity, safety, and home for all. A homeless documentary is more than a recounting of numbers. It is a testament to resilience, a mirror reflecting our collective conscience, and a call to act. It challenges us to ensure that the streets of Los Angeles no longer claim lives that could flourish in safety, stability, and hope. Through this lens, Los Angeles emerges not merely as a city of ambition, but as a community capable of compassion. The streets may be harsh, the systems imperfect, but hope endures, and it is our shared responsibility to protect it. This is the true power of a homeless documentary: to illuminate, to awaken, and to move viewers from passive observation to meaningful action.